Will I have to take medication for the rest of my life? This is a huge question. This is a big one. I get this all the time from patients and from you guys, listeners. Here's the thing. If we are talking about thyroid medication, if we're talking about hormones, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, then the answer is yes. But I'm going to break this down for you because there are multiple classes of medications, air quotes there, air quotes. You have the big heavy hitters, the meds that are used as Band-Aids by your doctor, the ones that, 9 times out of 10, you probably don't need. Those are the statins, the blood pressure medications, the antidepressants, the sleeping pills, the SSRIs, the PPIs. All of those are Band-Aids for your symptoms that doctors most likely get a kickback on. Let me tell you a quick story about that. My mentor had done a podcast where he was talking about nudges, where doctors are getting nudges and patients are getting nudges. You're thinking, what are nudges? Nudges are nudges to start on a medication or give their patient a medication, specifically statins. So these nudges come in various forms. Doctors will get little notifications like, hey, we see that you haven't prescribed your normal amount of 20 statins per month this month. And they do get kickbacks from the drug companies. This is not just the drug rep coming in and bringing a lunch. This is actual monetary kickbacks, just like any kind of referral, any kind of affiliate. All the influencers that you see out there on Instagram are getting kickbacks from what they promote to you. This is no different with doctors. Do you really think that a multi-billion-dollar drug company is holding back on commissions from their docs? Absolutely not. Yes, there are kickbacks. And these docs get little nudges. Well, the patients get nudges too. So here's me. Many of you know, because I'm totally open with my health, I have hypothyroidism and I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And with PCOS treatment, you know that I am totally against birth control because it will F up your thyroid. It's synthetic. You're pumping synthetic hormones into your body. No, no, no. That's another Band-Aid that we use on these poor young girls, women, when they have PCOS. Oh, here's some birth control. So I was not on birth control, but I was on metformin. I still take metformin and berberine together because together they have a really good 1-2 punch. So I was on metformin and I go into, and I shit you not, this is literally a week or two after I heard my mentor talk about these nudges. And I go into my health portal to look up something. And here comes up this little pop-up and it says, hey, we see that you're on metformin, indicating that you're a diabetic. Meanwhile, it's insulin resistance, folks. With PCOS, you have insulin resistance. That's a trait of PCOS. Hey, we see that you are on metformin. You must be diabetic. So therefore, you might want to talk to your doctor about a statin. God, I wish I would have taken a picture of that. I'd be posting that all over the place. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like, there it is. There's the nudge. Now, how many people out there would look at that and go, oh my God, yes, I must talk to my doctor about getting on a statin because I must need it. So there is the Band-Aid. That's a totally separate class of medication. Do I want you off that? Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that every person on an antidepressant needs to get off of it. Some of you need it. Brain chemistry can legit be off. But as we know, especially with thyroid, especially with hormones, antidepressants are sometimes used as a Band-Aid. Statins are 99% used as a Band-Aid. Unless you had a heart attack, you should not be on a statin. And then there's all the other Band-Aids, right? So that's in their own, that's a separate class of medication right there. Then we have another class of medication called hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, you have to get it at your drugstore. Yeah, you have to get it at your compounding pharmacy, but you are replacing hormones that are no longer being made properly. Thyroid, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Even if your cortisol is in the tank, some of you need hydrocortisone because we don't want you walking around flatlined with low cortisol all day. Those are the class of medications that are totally fine. And I want you to think about those differently. Put those medications in a different category in your mind. So if you're one of those people that pride yourself on never being on a medication, never taking an aspirin, never taking a Tylenol, good. But I have news for you. If your hormones go in the shitter, you're going to need some of those. So don't be so stubborn and prideful. Pride is a sin, by the way. Don't be so prideful of not taking medication that you're not open-minded to things that could literally improve your life, bring you back to life, make you the badass human that you're meant to be, actually give you some enjoyment of life. So yeah, you can remain in your stubborn box and you can live life fat, tired, frustrated, bald, dragging through, bitching, complaining, or you can do something about it and replace hormones that are no longer being made. Okay. So we have the new class of medication that I term hormone replacement therapy. That's in the class of improving your life. And yes, you might need it. How do you get off of it if you really, really, really want to get off of it? Or can you get off of it? So this is literally a question I got yesterday, from a patient who said, I'm on this progesterone. And we have her on thyroid hormone too, but she was asking specifically about progesterone. I'm on progesterone. And will I have to take this the rest of my life? I go, well, are you sleeping better? Yeah. Less water retention? Yeah. Less bitchy? Yeah. Okay. Why would you want to go off of that? Oh, yeah. Well, I just thought if I take it and then, get my hormone levels up, I won't need it anymore. How are you going to keep your hormone levels there? Yeah, they're up, but what's going to happen when you stop taking it? They're going to plummet. Let me give you an example of what you'll actually, it's more of a common example. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is not a medication, not yet, until the FDA really screws us over one day. But FDA is not a medication, but it is a hormone. Vitamin D is a hormone. If you take vitamin D on a consistent basis, you will get your level to 80 or above, where it should be, because we want your vitamin D levels at 80 or above. If you take vitamin D on a consistent basis, those levels will rise and be optimal. If you stop taking vitamin D, those levels will plummet. So yeah, you can sit there and go, well, I don't want to take a supplement every single day. Well, okay. If you stop, those vitamin D levels are going down, and they're going to take your energy and your hormone balance and your immune system with it. Why wouldn't you just take it every day? If something is working, why aren't you taking it? Same with progesterone, same with estrogen, same with testosterone, same with thyroid hormone. So I get this a lot too, and I understand where it's coming from. When a patient starts to work with me one-on-one and they are on T4 only, they've been on Levo, they've been on Synthroid, they've been down that T4 only road. And of course, their doctor isn't testing free T3 or reverse T3 or even paying attention to how they feel like garbage. They feel such like garbage that they ask me, I really want to get off my Synthroid. I go, you really want to get off T4 only because you're not feeling better, or you might be feeling worse if that T4 is converting to reverse T3 and putting you basically in a survival mode. Yeah, you might want to get off of that. But if we give you the right thyroid hormone, if we give you what your body needs, if we give you that T4 and T3 in whatever combination, and that might mean staying on Synthroid and us adding in T3 to the mix. Once we give you what you need, you're not going to want to get off of it anymore. You're not going to be asking me, how do I get off this thyroid medication anymore? Now, we might be able to do things to lower your dose. I'll get to that in 1 second. We're still on the wanting to get off thing. Why would you want to come off of something that actually pushed you into optimization land? What, are you going to jump on a plane and leave optimization land within a week? No, you want to stay there forever. I want you to join me in optimization land. It's a great place to be. It's a wonderful place to live. So if you're on the right combination of thyroid medication, if you're working with a knowledgeable practitioner that knows the thyroid, folks, remember, I have multiple podcasts on just jumping around a functional practitioner, an integrated practitioner, an alternative practitioner, and naturopathic practitioner that have zero clue about the thyroid. This is like another pandemic in and of itself. I keep getting a lot of people that are dropping boatloads of money on functional, integrative, naturopathic. And literally these people that are using that term to market themselves do not know the thyroid and are still stuck in conventional thinking or scared of T3. It's a disaster. So let's say you get to that point of being optimized because you're working with a knowledgeable, actual functional practitioner who knows what the hell they're doing with the thyroid and hormones, i.e. me, little shameless plug there. Then we get you optimized and you stay there because we want your hormones to stay there. We don't want to get you to a place where, hey, these numbers look great. Now let's just pull the rug out from under you. Let's take it all away. Just take it all away. Yeah, we know you feel good at this amount and this medication, this dose, this thyroid hormone replacement dose, this sex hormone dose. We know you feel great there, but we're just going to take it all away. Because, oh, yeah. Your numbers are good now, so you can just stop. What? Again, I ask you, pair this up with a type 1 diabetic. Do any of you know a type 1 diabetic? They have to take insulin or they have an insulin pump. What happens if you pull that hormone, insulin, away from them? They die. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. They die because their body is no longer making insulin or no longer making it in proper amounts. Insulin is needed for survival. We don't want too much of it or it's the fat storage hormone. But if you pull that away, they die. Now, if we pull away your thyroid hormone, your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone, are you going to die? Yeah, eventually. It's just going to be really slow and miserable. It probably won't be the direct cause of your death. Although if you have a thyroidectomy and you don't take thyroid hormone, you definitely are going to die. It won't be the direct cause of your death, but what will happen, organs won't work well. The heart needs T3 to beat. Your brain needs T3 to function. So you're just, heavier onset of Alzheimer's, heart disease, and just everything starts to not work really well, shrivel up, kind of like a raisin in the sun, right? Grape in the sun, raisin in the sun. One of those two. So yeah, you'll die a slow, painful death, but it won't be immediate. Like if we pulled your insulin and you're a type 1 diabetic. That is why we want to keep the medication, i.e. hormone replacement therapy, in the mix to keep you feeling amazing, to keep you living your best life ever, to keep you in optimization land. Now, could you maybe reduce your thyroid medication? Sure. Because you might be using supplements that improve your thyroid function. You might be really rocking it out, going gluten-free, taking care of yourself, reducing stress levels. And all of that might lead to the dose of thyroid medication that you're on right now kind of pushing you hyper, because all of a sudden all these other things are working and you're converting well and your metabolism is up and your mood is up. And then you start to feel a little bit jittery and anxious. And you're like, oh man, I don't think I need this much thyroid medication. We can back off on the dose but we don't want to pull it away, if that makes sense. We do not want to pull it away. The only time that I have been able to take someone successfully off of thyroid medication is if they are younger and in the beginning stages of Hashimoto's, or if they have true primary congenital hypothyroidism, where their thyroid gland just isn't working well due to maybe a past eating disorder, excessive exercise, excessive dieting, certain medications, chemotherapy, radiation. Those things can definitely play a role in tanking the thyroid. And once we fix all of those things and get the person eating again, the right amount of calories, and you're still gluten-free, we're supporting the body and blah, 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 then oftentimes they can go without thyroid medication or come off of their thyroid medication. But it's very rare. It's very rare because most of the time you're coming to me after you're already in those mid stages of Hashi, after you've already suffered for years, after your hormones are in the tank, and it doesn't matter what age. Don't think when I say hormones in the tank, this doesn't mean that you're 50. This could be 20, 25, 30. You've had miscarriages. You can't get pregnant. You're on that struggle bus, and we look at your hormones and you look like a postmenopausal woman. It happens all the time. All the time. And especially in this day and age, we are toxic. We are exposed to endocrine disruptors left and right. Absolutely, we can see hormones go in the tank in the 20s. We're seeing it earlier and earlier and earlier. Just like puberty is coming on earlier. If you have kids, right? Remember, we first got our cycles at like 14. Now there are girls getting their cycles starting at 9 and 10. So we're seeing an earlier onset of puberty. We're definitely seeing an earlier onset of perimenopause and menopause. So your hormones can go in the tank very, very soon. So it has nothing to do with age as to whether or not you can reduce or come off your thyroid medication, your hormone medication. It has everything to do with your body and what you're doing and what you're taking and how you're taking care of yourself. There are those cases where we might be able to reduce your thyroid medication, adjust it down, or come off of it. But here's the thing, and I'm just going to call this out because I've always wondered about this. I have even heard celebrities or people in this health space that I totally respect. I've heard them being interviewed and say, well, yeah, I was able to reduce my dose of thyroid medication by doing XYZ, or by rubbing this oil on my neck, or by whatever. And I'm thinking, why is that a badge of honor to reduce your thyroid medication? I mean, if you have to, you have to. If you're going hyper, we reduce it, right? Just like if you need more, we increase it. But why is it like a badge of honor? Like, yeah, I was able to reduce my thyroid medication. So you're taking 25 micrograms instead of 50? You want a cookie? I mean, I don't understand it. So I'm just calling it out there. It literally is like touted as a thing of importance. Like I said, a badge of honor. And I really don't get it. So I proudly say that I'm taking 75 micrograms of T3 twice a day, and you're going to have to pry that out of my dead cold hands. How about that? How about that? So I want you to think about medication, thyroid medication, hormone replacement in a totally different category. Yeah, you can have that category of medications where you're like, man, I am off of those and I am proud. If you get off a statin, be proud. If you get off an antidepressant, be proud. If you don't have to take a sleeping pill, be proud. Absolutely wear that as a badge of honor. But don't be trying to get off hormones that are giving you your life back. It's the same. Honestly, I'm going to say this too. It's the same thing as supplements. I will get questions from patients. And yeah, there are those supplements that maybe we're using short term. Maybe we're using because you have a parasite or you have candida. There are those supplements that we are healing your gut that we use short term. But then I get the question like, well, will I have to take these supplements the rest of my life? I'm like, well, Do you want to have good magnesium levels? Do you want to have optimal vitamin D levels? Do you want to keep your insulin in check with berberine? Do you want to have good hormones? Do you want to support your liver, or do you just want to let the liver go to shit and just, let it build up toxins and not methylate your hormones anymore? If something is working, why would you go off of it and fall into a deficiency again? You've done all this work to improve your body. You're feeling good. Now you just want to stop everything? We're just going to use some logic here. So I wanted to bring that to the table and address whether or not you need to be on medication, how you think about medication. Should you come off your medication? Should you reduce your medication? Medication, i.e. hormone replacement therapy. So hopefully this eases your mind a little bit, right? Like you can kind of just don't be prideful, chill out. If something's working, stay on it. And if it's not working, find somebody to help you get to optimization land. Because if it's not working, then it is time to change some things up. Maybe it is going off. Maybe it is adding to. Maybe it is changing up. It's all about getting optimized. Get optimized. And if you need any help doing so, you just let me know.